Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn Weird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Welcome.
It's good to see you
Welcome
all.
back.
What a great show that was last week, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
good one.
we had a lot of fun with it because there was a longer video discussion than we were able to put on the air. But I'll tell you what, it was a lot of blast. It was a blast talking to Tad Sellies and Jason Sikorsky from the Postal documentary. And I don't know if anybody got a chance to see that yet. They said they wanted to send us out copies.
And luck would behold, it came in the mail today.
Yes, it
If
did.
you're watching the video, I'm holding it up. It's sealed, which is great, and it's signed by the two guys we talked to last week and the two guys from Running with Scissors. So I don't even know if I want to unseal it.
Oh man,
I went ahead and unsealed it. I noticed that the autographs are actually on the inside, so they actually took the slip cover out and autographed
it.
it, so that way you're not going to ruin it. They didn't sign the plastic on top; they signed it inside of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Perfect.
That is pretty good. I hope this does really well. I know that the film festival in Phoenix, the 2025 film festival, it did surprisingly well, especially with it being an Arizona property. But I'm kind of wondering, will it do good across the country? The videos that we have shared on the TikTok platform and Snap and Instagram Reels have done really well. So, I think a lot of people, our fans, have seen it. And plus, Tad has reshared some of that as well with his network. So that's
And it's not like they're strangers to the show. I mean, you've had these guys on the show over the last 2 decades. So
well,
Yeah.
we've had Mike and Vince, but we never
Yeah.
had Tad and Jason, and that was kind of cool. And
Yeah.
the fact that Jason heard us that we talked about it, this is months ago, and I remember we got a like from them, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, but I never thought we'd get a chance to talk to him, so that was pretty neat.
No, it was awesome, and I've been a part of the show for a little while, and we've talked about it on the show. We got early access to the Postal 4 No Regrets. It's just been cool to be part
Regrets.
of.
It was
Regrets, yeah,
regrets.
whatever, however,
Regrets.
whatever. No regrets, whatever. So it's just cool to be a part of it, get early access to the. We got an early access preview of the documentary, which was awesome, and it's just cool to be a part of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. There was a lot going on this week. I know, Justin, you're taking a look at a brand new, we're speaking of games, you're taking a look at a brand new game. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys too about this Fortnite money claim that it's like the press is talking about it because Fortnite, obviously a pretty huge game. And now they're saying that there's a lot of money going to be coming back to people who played the game and maybe made some in-game purchases, which this is not the only game that's ever happened on. Right?
Yeah, no. This is something that's not new. There's a lot of games. I mean, I maybe not a lot. I'd say maybe, a handful of games that have done something like this, but I think that this one, because Fortnite is such a huge IP, um, that this kind of sets a precedent for this type of situation. Fortnite is a very, very popular game with children, especially, maybe let's say tweens or teens that play it. Not so much like younger kids and stuff. But anyway,
What's the premise in Fortnite? What are you
it's
gonna do?
it's a battle royale. Shawn, you know battle royale, right?
It's a battle royale game, right? You basically parachute in. It's all you can play in teams of 4, duos, or solo, and you basically try to survive to the end. But there's a couple different modes. Like there's a builder mode where you can build platforms and houses and stuff, and then there's a no building mode. But like any other game, there's microtransactions, right? You can buy skins, you can buy weapons, you can buy avatars, you can buy whatever.
XP
Yeah, you can
boosts.
buy XP boosts and stuff. So back in 2022, the FTC basically said if you bought if you were charged in-game currency for items you didn't want, your child made unauthorized charges, your Fortnite account was locked between these days, whatever, after disputing charges, you're basically eligible for refunds on some of that stuff.
So people maybe saw these charges on there that maybe the kids made, and then the people at Fortnite locked the game out so nobody could play it.
Correct. And because if you disputed the charges, Fortnite would say, yeah, you're done. You can't play the game anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically they reopened it and there's another $126 million. They're currently distributing $126 million in refunds and has reopened the claims process until July 9th of this year. So later this week, in a couple days.
So, okay, the good question is for some of our listeners that are not gamers, maybe they have kids that are gamers or grandkids or whatnot. Would $126 million seem like a lot of money to some of these companies?
I mean, I feel like it's any other
It
class
is, but
action lawsuit. You might it's probably not that much money to Epic Games, but
Fortnite makes like $30 million a day.
it's ridiculous. But
wow, wow. I
it's
I play a game called Toon Blast, and it's a game you play on your smartphone, and it's a lot of fun. And lately I've been seeing ads for another one of their properties, I think it's Royal Match or Royal Kingdom, one of those. And they talk about the fact that you could, get the app, you can download the app, you can play the game. No internet is needed for you to play the game, and it doesn't cost you anything, and there's no in-game ads. And I had somebody at work ask me, how do they make their money? I said, well, it's all in the artificial intelligence within the game that if you're doing good, you're going to get to a point where you're not doing good. Now, to get past certain levels, you can then buy, like they do in Fortnite, loot crate, or you buy,
Boost, yeah, some
you
sort of a
buy a
boost.
boost, you buy a package, you can buy, for $20 you get this, for $50 you get this, for $5 you can get this. You buy that and that gets you over that hump. And it really is quite addicting for people who play the game. And yeah, they're being told by celebrities. I mean, they've got some big endorsers that are on television, saying play this game because you don't have to be on the internet. There's no in-game ads, so why not have fun with it? Because they will make money off you because they know they actually have. From what I've heard, they have psychologists who decide at what
Oh,
point
absolutely, yeah.
the game is going to get harder. They've been doing that in games for quite some time.
yeah,
But
it's all about psychology and it's all about the gambling mindset, right? It's getting people hooked, give them that competitive advantage. Yeah, I'm doing really good, really good, really good, and then you slowly just trickle them back down, and you get them to where they're like, I might not be breaking even anymore, and you boost them up a little bit, and you bring it
yeah,
back down.
So I have a very good example, and that's actually happening right now. Um, I just picked up a new game, and I've been wanting this game for a while, but I've been reading the reviews on it, and it's on Steam because we got the Steam summer sale, so there was a bit of a discount. But it's PGA Tour 2K25, so it's the
really,
latest edition of the PGA Tour golf simulation.
right. Is that
And
Electronic Arts who's
no,
doing that
it's
one?
2K.
No.
2K
Okay. Oh,
Sports, which is
2K.
owned by
2K.
Activision, which is owned by Microsoft.
Right.
So 2K Sports is running it. Now, I wanted this game a long time ago because I've been itching for a golf simulator, but there isn't anything out there except for this. And I kept reading the reviews, and the reviews kept saying the same thing. It's microtransaction heaven. Like they constantly want you to buy, 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 get your player to the next level, buy this, buy that, buy this new shirt, buy this new hat, buy this new golf club. And I'm like, okay, well,
Hmm.
I really don't want to do that. I just want to play the game. But then I finally, before I bought it, I read a review, and his review was super long. And the guy was like, look, if you're sitting here looking at this game like it's a Fortnite, like extremely, right away, just succeed with everything you do, then this is not the game for you. This is a simulation. This is a golf simulation, and golf is hard. You have to grind through it. You have to learn. You have to get better. If you think you can just simply buy your way to the top, then you better have a lot of money. If you don't,
Wow.
enjoy the game just as it is because this game is perfect. And I read that review and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
So I bought it and I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm like 12 under par compared to like everybody else is like 3 over par. So
Right.
I'm winning every single match. But here's the thing, to Shawn's point. They're going to get you to that spot where you're addicted. You're like, "Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good." And then they're going to hit you with that tournament, in this case, the golf tournament, and you're going to suck. And they're going to be like, "Hey, for an extra $10, we can bump up your stats a little bit." I bet you that's coming down the line because I'm like, I am not this good of a gamer. I don't understand how I'm beating these guys so hard, but it's so much fun.
It's funny because I do play Royal Match, Royal Kingdom, and Toon Blast. I did notice like if on my iPhone, which I still have an iPhone, I don't use it. It's there. I've got my iWatch, my Apple Watch, tied to that. And once in a while, I'll say, oh, hey, I've got Toon Blast or Royal Match on this. Let me open it up. I haven't played it for a while, and it will right away just it'll say welcome back, and it will give me all this loot. It just gives it to me, and I'll be like, oh, cool. And I'm playing it, and these levels are the easiest I've ever played. I'm like getting through them and just so many
Yep.
moves, and I'm thinking that's kind of weird. And then I'll just stop playing. And that's the thing. Like you said, they want you to because they'll get to a point where all of a sudden you'll have one move left to get to the next level, and you won't be able to do it unless you
Yep.
buy this. And
Yep.
so yeah, it's I mean,
Andy, do you want to know what the January 2024 monthly revenue was for Toon Blast?
what was it?
37 million.
Oh my, just in
Jesus.
January.
Just in January, they have made 2.6 billion lifetime since 2017.
Right.
And to
This
put to
this is
put this into
exactly how they make their
put
money.
to put this into perspective, right? So take that 37 million monthly average, and Fortnite in 2024 grossed 4.9 billion,
Oh my Lord.
which is 13 million 400 13 million 400 and whatever 4 point
Yeah.
13.42 million dollars a day
Yeah,
in 2024.
When
that's
it
yeah, I was a little off, but yeah.
When it comes to your games, then would you prefer, and would most gamers prefer a game that you just buy outright, $50, and you don't have to buy any
You're
loot,
you're you're never
or
gonna
do
see that
you
again.
still have to do that?
You're never going to see that again because the lifetime of games is so long, and they have to be able to support server side content.
Well,
Mm.
it's not even it's just that too. So we have gotten to the point now where developers are the ones that actually make the game. They're the coders, they're the artists, they're the producers, they're the directors. These are the people that actually make the game. These people are given such a unrealistic timeline by the producers. These are the ones that are giving them the money to make this game. And
Right.
these developers are releasing games that are unfinished, full of bugs, and full of microtransactions because the publisher just wants to make a quick buck. And then what happens is whatever is left over of the player base after most of the players have vacated the game, they will finally then say, all right, we're going to start improving the game. We're going to make patches. Stick around. Don't worry. It's another psychological thing. Like, yes, we understand the game sucks, but bear with us. We're working on it. We're going to make it better. And this is just simply putting the carrot on the stick in front of the horse. It's literally just stringing you along to keep you engaged, to keep you playing as long as they possibly can to get every single penny out of you.
It's got to be difficult though for kids because I mean I think well, as adults we can get suckered into that pretty easily, but for kids I think it could be worse. It's always just a
Oh, it's
dollar.
oh my God, it's so horrible. Erica's
Yeah.
already spent like over $150 on Minecraft
Yeah. What
of
was the game?
my money.
What was the game that we were playing a few years back where all of us were spending money on it. It was an action game,
You
top
mean
down.
oh, you're talking about
Fall Guys.
no, you're talking about like the oh gosh, Supercell made
Yeah,
it. Clash of
yes,
Clans, Clash of
Clash of
Clans.
Clans. That was
Yes,
the one.
okay. I've told you this before. I have over the years, now I don't play it anymore,
No.
but from let's say 2014 to 2022, maybe,
Mhm.
I've spent probably close to $3,000 on that game.
No. It was a very addictive game. I got into that as well. And you get to the point, oh wait, oh you could do
At,
this.
at, at their heyday, Supercell was making $150 million a day.
Wow. There's another one I play, but you see, and this is the upside of it. Would you prefer ads in a game rather than that? Because I play Words with Friends,
No,
which I get ads. Yeah, and
I would prefer a game that cost me $100 that has no ads, no microtransactions, but yet there's going to still be updates if
yeah,
there's a bug.
but those updates would cost. Yeah. No?
no. If it's a bug, it's a bug. You fix it. If
Right.
it's DLC, if it's like, hey, we expanded it, we added new content, yes, I will pay for that. But microtransactions and anything else, no. I would rather just pay $100 straight up for the game.
When you look at a company like Microsoft and you look at, Windows 11, that's we're now less than what, 5 months. October 14th is the day that they say, oh, you want everybody wants to change it. They keep putting out, well, we may just extend it, Windows 10. They've lost something like 400,000 different, like, licensees over the last few months as we're building to that.
Yep.
3 months, is it? Yeah.
Over the last 3 years, Windows has shed over 400,000 Windows licenses.
So where are
Yeah.
they going? Are they going to Mac or are they going to
Linux.
Linux?
Even Mac. I just read an article about this today because those numbers are coming out. Even Mac's subscriptions are down. Like not subscriptions, but the Mac share is down.
Could
Market
always
share.
be too. Our
So what
smartphone.
about Linux? What about Linux?
Yeah.
Linux is still the bottom, obviously, but their shares are up. More
See,
people are
there you
using
go.
Linux, but more people day to day are using like iOS or Android or Google.
Yeah.
So they're
I mean, think
using.
about it.
More people are using their phones than PCs.
Yeah. You could do everything with it. You play games, you could do papers, you could do reports.
Ugh.
I don't know. It
So
just makes
you're onto this market where tablets and phones are going to supersede PCs just
right.
because of the convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where it's going to be in the next few years. But I just wonder about this whole, is Microsoft just doing a cash grab? I mean, they've got the manufacturers, I'm sure, love it because this is an opportunity to sell more PCs. And the fact is, let's face it, when Windows XP came out, we held on to it for a long time. And,
Hmm.
we weren't buying anything else. Microsoft kind of changed their strategies over the years and finally said, no, no, we need to change these up a little more often so that, I mean, the company can make money. So then, they instead of putting out Microsoft Office as a package, it became a software and service.
So
So,
so we just talked about this today, right? XP was officially released on October 25th, 2001.
right?
There wasn't another Windows release until 2007 with Vista. So
Wow.
it was 6 full years of development into Vista with no new operating system. And then 8 came along 5 years later, 2012.
That was awful.
Well, actually, 2007 and 2009, right? So
No, no,
Vista to
I'm sorry.
7,
You missed.
Vista
You
to
missed.
7.
Yeah.
They were out of order when I searched them, so I had
7
to.
was good. Yeah.
So 2000, so only 3 years, less than 3 years went by before Windows 7. Then 3 more years,
Hmm.
and then it was 6 years until 10.
So we talked about this before. I don't remember how many months ago it was, but we all know that there are two teams that work on Microsoft Windows operating systems. There's the blue team and there's the gold team. And I don't know which one is which responsible for which, but they alternate operating systems. So if you look back all the way back to Windows 95,
Hmm.
okay? Windows 95, it was okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then Windows 98 came out, sucked. Then they came out with
Two fixed.
Windows 98 Second Edition, which
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Then they came out with Windows 2000,
Mhm.
not really that good. It was more geared towards servers.
Yeah.
Then they came out with Windows XP, amazing.
Yeah.
And they came out with Windows ME, sucked.
It was awful.
Then they came out with Windows 7.
Right.
Or no, wait, Vista. Wait, I'm sorry,
Vista.
Vista.
This is awful.
Yeah. Then they came out Windows 7. Amazing. Windows 8 sucked. Windows 10 awesome. Windows 11 sucked. What does that pattern show you? One
That we'll see
team,
Windows 12 by next year.
Windows 12 is going to be awesome, and one
Right.
team knows what the hell they're doing. The other team doesn't, it seems, because every team that works on the ones that have been sucky continues to work on the sucky ones, whereas the other team works on the good ones. So if the history holds true, Windows 12 should be amazing.
I'm just thinking, so I know we've talked about this. So I'm going to talk about this new laptop that I bought. We've talked about Copilot and how we're just so ugh. The other day, I was going through this new laptop and it has the Copilot key on it. And I was trying to figure out how do we change this? I mean, I'm trying to remember the steps. So I hit the key. I went ahead. Oh, I took the step and I hit the key and it do I want it to do everything? Do I want it to run this? No, I just want an answer to my question. And I asked my Google Assistant the question, and I asked the Copilot, and actually, Copilot gave me a pretty good answer as well as the Google Assistant. So, the thing is, I think we're going to continue to see them integrating stuff like that. That is going to feed back more information that then that information could be used for advertising. And then we're going to see more ads in the OS. Shawn, you've talked about this before. The ads within Windows itself are getting to the point they're kind of annoying.
Well, it's I'm never gonna get it, but I can have a wish that I get a bare bones copy of Windows. It exists for government clients.
Yeah.
A bare bones, no ad, no
You can
tracking.
do it with PowerShell.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
just I don't want to. I want to be lazy. I want it
Well, then
without. I'll pay for it. I'm already
I
paying
mean,
for it.
come on, bro.
But
yeah.
the one that really irks me is when I hit the Windows key and I type in what I want to do, and it opens a Bing window and searches it.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
God, Bing.
yeah.
So
That's what
Oh,
just really.
that is
I don't want to
grinds your
open
gears.
Bing. I don't want to open Edge. I just want you to search my computer for the thing.
what
And
grinds
I
my
don't want
gears?
I don't want recall. I don't want this recall BS they're throwing out there.
Yeah.
I don't want it taking a snapshot of my computer and putting it into the cloud every 15 seconds. I don't want to ask Copilot for it. I just want it to search my computer. How hard is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ingrained Windows search used to be great, and now it's so bad. And nobody, I'm sorry, Microsoft, Satella, Nadia, what's his name?
Yeah.
Satella, no, Nadia. I don't even
Yeah.
remember the CEO. The whatever, Mr. CEO, if you're listening, nobody likes Edge. Nobody likes Copilot. Nobody likes Bing. Just seriously, stop. Just stop.
Can you bring back WordPad?
Can you bring back Clippy? Because
That's what the AI
because everybody liked Clippy.
is.
Nobody likes
liked
Bing.
Clippy. I hated
Nobody likes
Clippy.
Edge.
Clippy was ahead of his time.
The only reason you use Edge is to download Firefox or Chrome.
That is true. And then that got blocked. I don't know if you saw the story from a few weeks ago that for some reason Google was not showing up on Windows 11 machines. They were having a hard time with that. And it was ticking off a lot of people trying to figure out why. And it turned out that some of the content that people had been seeing on Google, they said, "Oh, this is a problem." So you weren't able to run it. I don't know if they've since fixed that, but that was one of
This
the
is why
stories.
people are going to Linux because Linux is open source and it's getting better and better by the day. Every
It's
single
still
new
so
release.
confusing because there's so many different distributions.
Yeah, but I
No
mean,
idea.
there's Linux Mint. Honestly, if you're looking for
Yeah,
one,
and-
right there, bam, Linux Mint.
And for everybody that says, "Oh, it's so hard," if use
It's not.
AI, get ChatGPT and ask it questions.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this in Linux Mint? There's your answer.
Yeah,
It's
but
30
Linux Mint looks exactly like Windows and it behaves exactly like Windows.
It has a GUI. It has a software center. It has everything you need. It's what I run my Plex server on. It's what I run some servers at work on. It's
I'll
The
tell you a
o-
funny story. When my laptop died unexpectedly the other day, and I use my laptop every day. I went and I found the Asus that had been in the travel bag that Gloria has and has not fired it up for at least a couple years. So I went ahead and fired it up, and then nope, I had to run a ton of updates. It took a whole day to do the updates. And then I went to look at it. Oh, this is a Celeron processor. Oh, this is
Ooh,
it was
yeah.
it was dog slow. And I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And then I found that the old Dell computer that we used to use back on Tech Talk Radio. I want to say back in 2002. I mean, this thing it probably was later than that, but either way, I found this old laptop that I installed Linux Mint on, Linux Mint 22, and I fired it up and I was able to get a couple things done with it. And I thought, wow, this is an old computer. Couldn't do that anymore.
No.
They make it so difficult. But
Yeah.
Linux worked on that.
That's why more people are going to Linux. Honestly, Linux Mint. The only downside to Linux Mint, or just Linux in general, I should say, is you can't run every single program on it because Most programs are written for either Windows or they're written for Mac. However, with that being said, now that more and more people are choosing to go with Linux, the Linux application library is growing, growing, growing. You can even run video games. You can
Yeah.
get Steam, you can get Xbox, you can get them on Linux.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I would say at this point in time, as of, what, July 1st, July 2nd, 2025,
Mm-hmm.
you can probably run about 90% of your programs on Linux.
And Shawn, you're familiar with Alternative.to.
It's one of my favorite sites. Yeah.
Can you find Linux programs within Alternative2.net?
Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah. You can find Linux distributions on there. So if you don't know which one you want to get, just type Linux or just type in Linux Mint or Debian or Ubuntu, and it's going to give you a list of all the other distros that you can get. And depending on how tech savvy you want to get, I mean, but like Justin said, Linux Mint is the easiest. It takes
It's based on Ubuntu.
it's based on Ubuntu, and it took me. I'm good with computers, but it took me less than 5 minutes to download the software, burn it to a USB drive, and get it started installing on another computer.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
once you
Not
get
bad
it
at all.
set up, it looks and acts and feels just like Windows.
and with the emergence of AI and LLMs, right? It's so easy to, if you have a question about Linux that you don't know the answer to, just type it into ChatGPT or type it into Grok, and it's going to spit you out a really good answer.
Yeah.
It's going to help you learn. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit more involved with Linux, but just give it a shot. If you like computers, if you think you're good with computers, give Linux a shot. Just try it. If you
Okay.
have a 4-year-old laptop or a 5 or 6-year-old tower that's just sitting on a shelf collecting dust and you don't know what to do with it because it can't run Windows 11, put Linux
Try
Mint on it.
Linux. Yeah.
There you go.
But here's,
All right, listen,
hold on.
we got to take a quick break. You're going to one point out?
One real quick point. The best part about Linux is that they're not a lot of viruses for Linux because Linux is very, very secure. So keep that in mind.
All right. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us on TechtalkRadio.com. We'll be right back.
So before the break, we were talking about Windows 11, Linux, moving to Windows 11. We're in the process of right now because the support for Windows 10 ends in October. So we're migrating all of our Windows 10 machines to Windows 11 per the university policy, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, are you having to pull motherboards and all this other stuff, or did you just need to
For the most
change?
part, it's been pretty smooth, right? We've been able, with the security policies, get the most up-to-date version of Windows 11 pushed forward, but we've had some troubles with some other older motherboards that are struggling. One specific server, we have a server that runs a TriCaster. Justin probably knows that it's a little video switching software. I tried to put Windows 11 on there, so looked up the motherboard, said everything supports Windows 11. It just doesn't have secure boot enabled. Perfect, cool. I'll go into the BIOS, enable secure boot.
Uh-oh.
It didn't reboot after that.
What did you get?
Nothing I could do would get it to reboot.
You couldn't even get into the BIOS?
It wouldn't even post.
It wouldn't even post.
Wouldn't even post. So I did a little Google-foo. This specific gigabyte motherboard had issues when enabling secure boot with a MBR partitioned hard drive. It would try to read the MBR partitioned hard drive, and it would corrupt the BIOS.
Oh,
but you couldn't just do a CMOS reset on it?
Tried it. The BIOS was at the chip level. The BIOS was corrupt.
Oh no.
So I was like, crap, this is a production mod. Like, this is a piece of production that we use. Like, I have to get this back. What can I do? Emailed New Tech and said, what can I do? Like, this box doesn't support Windows 11. That's what they told me. They said it doesn't support Windows 11. I was like, that's a lie. The hardware can support it. So what's the deal? They said, that's it. You guys don't pay for a service contract. So therefore I can't help you anymore. It doesn't support Windows 11.
We're going to hear a lot of that.
So I kept searching. I was like, I've got to be able to fix this. I could reflash the BIOS. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take on a challenge. So I bought a CH341A programming tool
Really?
on Amazon.
Wait, what exactly is that for our listeners that might not know?
It's a USB stick, and I bought a dongle that it's 8 pins that clips onto the motherboard. I literally clipped it to the BIOS chip.
Okay.
On the motherboard, plugged it into a USB into a Windows computer, and downloaded the proper new updated 2025 version of the BIOS for this motherboard, and flashed it to the BIOS chip.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It was
And it
like
worked.
It worked.
How did you
So
feel
Wow.
when you rebooted and then it came back up?
I stood up and did a little dance. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, this is the last thing I can try. If this doesn't work, I'm screwed. Like
Yeah.
it's either this works or it doesn't.
So,
So
so how much did that little chip thing cost you?
$15 on Amazon.
And did you pay that yourself or did you use a
I
company
bought
credit
it by
card?
myself because it's like I screwed it up.
Okay,
I
so
want to try it.
how much did they pay you back for that?
I got the $15 back.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it? You only got the fifth. Did they not even buy you lunch?
No, they buy me lunch all the time, but it's I got back what I paid for it, right? Because my boss is on vacation, so I had to make a call. I paid for it, whatever. Got my
Yeah.
money back. But it was pretty cool to be like, I'm in this programming software called Neo Loader. Neo.
All right.
Yeah,
Let
anyways,
our
but yeah,
listeners know
so
about this.
it's if you feel like up to the challenge and you have physically access to the motherboard, you can buy this flasher and the adapter. It's a clip. It looks like a gator clip, and I clipped it right onto the chip and
Wow.
read the BIOS off of it. So I backed up the BIOS that was on it, and then downloaded the new one from Gigabyte and flashed and just clicked flash, and it wrote it to the memory. Plugged everything back in, plugged in the graphics card, plugged in their custom PCI Express board, and it booted.
You got to link that on our website.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll make
So,
sure that the links are there.
and now it will post and it will load into Windows 11.
So
So,
whatever you were told by New Tech, that wasn't the case because now
well, I think right. New Tech, they said their software doesn't support Windows 11. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing that I've got working, and I'm gonna prove them
Yeah,
wrong.
well, their software doesn't, but the hardware, when you flash it, it works fine.
Yeah. So now it supports Windows 11.
See,
So
I'm making the point though, Shawn and Justin, that I think we're going to see a lot of this. There are, even in the last 3-4 years, there are companies that have sold software and hardware that you buy it, you use it. I'm going to give an example: radio stations that bought a automation system, so they've got it, it works fine. They didn't opt to buy in for the, the service contract. And suddenly now they're being faced with, oh, we got to upgrade to Windows 11. We don't have a service contract. You're not going to be able to do that. Because if you hose the machine, that's it for you. And
well,
all the
what
money you spent
the
is
fun
gone.
part is some companies even tell you, if you don't opt for the service contract now and you want the service contract then, and then when we have to upgrade, you have to pay us for that entire duration that you didn't have the service contract.
Oh my Lord, really?
Whoa. How is that
Wow.
even legal?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it works in
Yeah.
some of the broadcasting business, where if you don't have support and you want support going forward on certain products, unless you're buying new and getting a new service contract, you have to back pay for support.
Do you remember that array that we had back at KSWB in San Diego, that Unix storage array? I can't remember. It started with an
Ton,
N. No, not tons. It would
no.
start with an N. It was like where we would put all of our long-term storage, and it was all Mac based,
Oh
and it was
wow.
like a bunch.
Oh,
It was a whole
Xan?
something like that.
Xan was Mac's like long-term file store, like they had server storage, like
It was
SAN storage.
something like that. Anyway, but yeah, it was the same thing where we had a problem where we could not get it to work, and I was tasked to try to figure it out. And I contacted the support, and they were like, "Yeah, well, you haven't had support on this for, X amount of years, and you're going to owe us, $15,000 if you want to, catch up with your support contract, and then we can actually help you." And Kyle, our boss at the time, was like, "There's no way we're going to do this. You're going to have to figure this out on your own." And I turned to Reddit, and I actually found a former engineer that used to work for that company, and he was like, "Look, I'll help you out." And
Oh
so
wow.
we got on like a screen share with him multiple times, and he got in, and because he knew Unix. Now, Unix is different than Linux. Linux is based off of Unix, but like Unix is like hardcore command line only type of interface. This guy went in and just completely upgraded our entire infrastructure and got everything to work again. And and he was like, I'm not going to charge you anything. I just do this for fun. But I told my boss, I was like, look, man, we got to do something for this guy,
Yeah.
just because he was awesome. So I convinced my boss to buy him like a $500 gift card, a Visa
Nice.
gift card on company dime. And we just bought him a $500 gift card and sent it to him because if it wasn't for him, we would have lost all this long-term storage that this company was going to charge us $15,000 to try to catch up on. And this guy's like, yeah, I'll do it for 500 bucks. Actually, well, he said for free, but we just gave him for 500 bucks.
You
Yeah,
see, and it's not going to affect just technical companies. It's going to affect auto repair shops that are using technology to discover and fix and repair. Because let's face it, cars are pretty much there's so much
Computers.
electronic computer engineering in those. It's going to affect so many different businesses that they don't have the service contracts. Something happens, then they can lose a lot of business because they're not able to work.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that. It's interesting because my problem this past week, I have a Lenovo. It is a I think it was a yoga laptop. It's been great. When my Asus died about 4 years ago, I went out and I bought this it was an open box from Best Buy, previous display model. And I've loved it. It's been great. I was able to update it to Windows 11 and it's been fine. The other day, I needed a file off of there and I took it out of my laptop bag, put it on the little square table that I have, put it in a flash drive, I had started it up, got it working, grabbed the files I needed, and then shut it off, pulled the drive, and put it back in my laptop bag. When I got to work here at the station, I went to hook it up. I hit the power. Nothing's happening with it. You hit the power button, but it feels smushy. It feels like it's not connecting, right? I'm like, what the heck's going on? I tried shutting it down, unplugging it. I look at the power. It's full powered because I had used it the night before and had it plugged in. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on with it? Couldn't
This
figure
Windows 11 on it.
Windows 11's on it. Couldn't figure it out. So I went ahead and I removed the bottom. Okay, the bottom would holds no more user serviceable ports, which I absolutely hate. There's only one company that I think does it, unless you want to buy high end. And I looked this company up called Framework. Have you guys heard about them?
Oh yeah, framework. Yep.
They make PCs that you can buy parts and basically build it yourself, or they'll
Yep.
do it for you.
Yep.
So anyway, so I'm going through it, and then I'm reading in the documentation that there is a button, a small little hole in the side of my laptop, and you can depress that, and it goes into a special post mode. And I'm thinking, this is after a day of fiddling with this thing, trying to get, disconnecting the hard drive, disconnecting the battery, disconnecting the CMOS, doing all of that. And I went ahead and pushed this little button, and all of a sudden I got power. It's
Mm.
spinning. So I'm thinking, okay, I know now it is not the motherboard because I would not get that if the motherboard was dead, right? I mean, am I
Yep.
correct?
Um. Yeah. Mostly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes to post. I went ahead and I hook it back up and I control alt delete and it comes right back up, logs into Windows. It's working. I'm so happy. And I go ahead and do a couple of things on it and then I shut it down. Next day, nothing. Can't get it to work. And so again, I pulled everything again, hit the button, nothing. Get nothing coming out of that special button now. And then one moment, it came up, but I had to put the case back on because the case was off and it was plugged in. So I didn't want to take the chance. So I unplugged it, put the case back on, couldn't get it, and I have not been able to get it respond yet.
Ooh.
So I don't know why it would do that. I was thinking, well, one person had recommended CMOS battery and said that, if you replace your CMOS, you might find that that's the only thing that was holding it up. The other one said the battery itself might be doing it, even though you disconnected the battery and it still started up. That still could be part of the issue. So it's one of those things. They're fun to track down. I wish there was an easy way to do it. Any
Mm.
thoughts? Uh,
Hmm.
yeah.
I don't. It's just one of those things. Yeah. I mean, I have troubleshooted so many different laptops that have done stuff like this. And
It's
honestly, I mean, not personally, professionally, I would rather just buy another laptop because I don't, I'm not here to sit there and waste my time when I've got 1,000 other things to do than to troubleshoot one single laptop. When I can buy another one, usually, third party. I buy a lot of my stuff from a website called Evergreen Electronics. They're basically secondhand, refurbished, great laptops, 3-year warranty. Um,
Wow.
I would rather just buy another one for like 650.
Right.
there are like two things I'll do. I'll try a new power supply,
Mm-hmm.
change the CMOS battery,
Right.
reflash the BIOS now. Apparently,
Yeah. There you go.
those three things is enough of my time. If it's beyond that, unless there's sentimental value in a soldered on hard drive or something I can't get to, it's
Right.
done. I'm done. I'm moving on. It's a
Yep.
waste of my time at that point.
Yep.
Well,
I could probably buy a newer, faster one for a little bit more money and just move my data over from the hard drive. But like I said, unless there's sentimental data on there that I need that's soldered on that I can't access without the motherboard, I'm moving on after those three things.
all right. One more question too, Shawn. You talked about moving the data over with this new laptop. When I logged in, and I logged in with our email address, right? It said, "Do you want to move over these previous backups that have been stored in OneDrive?" And it was backups from the previous laptop. And I thought, "Whoa, look at that! I can actually do that." So I went ahead and did that, but I've had so many little issues here and there. You still have to install certain programs and all that. Is it better just to go just brand new, get the software that you want to do, just start over from scratch, or let it do this where it's installing little bits and pieces to get it to work?
I've always been under the adage of stall fresh. I
Yep.
rarely go more than 2 years without completely reformatting my computer. You just get to a point where it starts to get bogged down. You get junk, you stuff. It also helps you curate your data a little bit, so you're not just hoarding a bunch of junk on your computer, and it gives your computer a new breath of fresh air. You get the most up to date version of Windows. You get the most up to date version of drivers. You get, it's just, but it helps just kind of speed things along and give your computer a little bit extra life. But I know a lot of people that don't ever do that.
Yeah.
So we this whole segment we've been talking about uh computers that have been having problems booting up or um I don't know, just performance in general, I guess maybe you could say, right?
Yeah.
Um I have again, I'm going to mention this one more time because I mentioned it so many different times. But I've had computers at work where we're like, we don't know what's going on here. The thing's not working right. Something's not right. Blah, 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 blah. We run Driver Easy. Driver
Driver.
Easy is the program that I've been recommending for years now. You
Oh
can
yeah, yeah.
you can find it drivereasy.com.
All
And
right.
it is a subscription service. I think it's like about $30 a year,
Okay.
whatever. Okay. We have a technician license. So we get 50 licenses. Each license is good for 3 days. So it allows us to install it on, 50 different computers. We have 3 days to run it, update the drivers, and then we're good. But I also have my own personal license to it for my home computers. I absolutely love Driver Easy. It finds drivers that Microsoft won't give you, your computer manufacturer won't give you. Like, I don't know where they find these things. But
Yeah.
they're updated BIOSes. I mean, I've gone to ASUS's website and I'm like, hey, where's my BIOS? It's not there. Driver Easy's like, yeah, this is actually signed off by ASUS. It's right here on this website. They will tell you the source where they got it. And every one of their drivers is signed, vetted. It works. I have brought computers back to life from computers that are dead by just simply running Driver Easy and updating like the chipset and the
Mhm.
motherboard, the firmware, the other drivers. I have brought computers back to life. I have brought computers that are like, oh my God, this thing is so slow. I don't understand what's going on. Run Driver Easy, update about 30 or 40 drivers that aren't listed on Microsoft. Boom, reboot, computer's great.
Okay,
They
so you
are
got
they
driver.
are running a special right now.
They are.
I looked it up. Justin
Ooh,
said it was about $30 a month.
no, year.
Oh, 30, yeah, sorry, $30
Yeah.
a year.
A lot better.
So one PC is $29.95 a year.
Okay.
Right now, you can get and be locked in for 3 PCs for $29.99 a year.
Ooh, so three,
I'm buying it right now.
three for 30.
Three for 30. It's
That's
going to be $32.05 after tax
Oh my
for a
God.
year. For a year
Okay.
for 3 PCs. I'm literally putting my PayPal information in right now.
That's
What is
amazing.
what is that program also? So you got Driver Easy, and there's a program that can load the most common used software programs you have on a
Oh,
new
nine
PC.
night, nine night.
Yeah,
Ninite. That's
nine.
it. Nine
Nine.
And that's spelled Ninite. That you can find that in.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
haven't used it too much, but Sean has.
Yeah,
I know
Matt. It came recommended from Matt
Right.
because I was telling him I was spending all this time installing all these things. He's like, use 99. I was like, what's that? And he's like, click on all these buttons and it installs all the programs for you. So
Perfect. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Justin's got a listener question he's going to share with us. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back. Now we have a listener question. This is an interesting one because I have a very simple answer to this one. But the question is from Shannon in Tucson. It says, "How do you clean soda pop that has been spilled on a keyboard?"
Oh, no.
Shannon, the simple answer is you don't. You buy a new keyboard.
You really should you respond with pop it in the dishwasher?
Well, I mean, okay, hold on. There are people that have done that, and Sean probably is one of them. Sean, how did it go?
Not well.
Yeah, see.
We have very hard water here in Indiana.
Yeah. Unless you have like filtered water, it's probably not the best idea. Honestly, the prices of keyboards have dropped down. Now, if you're talking about a super expensive mechanical keyboard with LED lights like I have here, like I don't know if I can show this on the screen, but yeah, something like that.
That Razor? Is that a
That's a Corsair.
Corsair?
I would say you are just going to be, for lack of better terms, SOL. Just buy a new keyboard. It's going to take you so much more time, so much more effort to try to clean up that soda than it is for you to buy another keyboard.
Now, if you spilled it on a laptop keyboard,
Ooh.
you're extra screwed.
Oh yeah.
If you spilled it on a laptop keyboard, especially, I mean, you have some that have the mechanical butterfly switches. You have some that have the membrane switches. If you have one with the membrane switches, it's never coming out.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
So you need to take it to a shop, say how much you give this for me if I give it to you for scrap, and buy a new computer.
You know, it's interesting with this new laptop that I bought, which is also a Lenovo. It's the Yoga 7. It's a 2-in-1. I get pop-ups now, which are a little frustrating. But I get pop-ups from Allstate that I can actually get an insurance package to protect my laptop.
You can disable all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
I did the install where I let it run data from, the other computer, and now I'm not liking it. So I think I'm going to start over. Just start over, deactivate some of the programs that I'm on there, and just start over from scratch.
We got one more listener question from Nick in
Right.
Green Valley. He
Right.
says, "I was looking at USB flash drives and saw a lot of different ones.
We
Kingston,
love USB questions.
yeah, Kingston, SanDisk, etc. And wondering, is there a better drive than the others, or are they all the same?" I mean, and okay, I know Sean, I know you're gonna have an opinion on this, but there are different caveats to it. But overall, you're almost kind of just akin to like comparing like Ford, Chevy, Dodge. Okay,
Yeah,
they're
it's
all
brand
vehicles.
preference.
They're all gonna do what they say they're gonna do. Some might last a little longer than others. Some might perform a little bit better than others. Depends on the engine, right? Or what the specs are on the USB drive. But in general, like Sean said,
So I think you're looking at form factor at this point, right? Do you want USB-C? Do you want
good point.
USB-A? Do you want
Right.
one that'll do both? Because they make them. Do
I want
you
FireWire.
You have
Hey,
to be difficult, don't you?
so funny. So you said FireWire, but the new version of Mac OS, iOS 26, is ending FireWire support. Just FYI,
Oh.
after a gazillion years. But It's akin to personal preference, right? It doesn't matter what brand. It's all about size. It's going to be about whether you want SanDisk or Kingston or Corsair or whatever brand you want. Um, but just make sure you're buying from a reputable source. I
Now,
would personally go and buy it physically in a store because you are.
I'm
It's buying on Amazon. You're likely to get. You're not. I mean, the chances are low, but it's not zero that you will get a drive that is incorrectly modified or improperly modified and will be fake.
I'm not sure about that because my wife has always told me that size doesn't matter, and I just don't quite I don't know if I agree with
I
that.
mean, Justin, it's because you're stuck in the 80s, dude, and you're still using a floppy drive.
What? Oh,
Get
okay.
with the times, dude.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
I've had a problem lately with PNY drives. I don't know what happens, but after a while, nothing out of them. Not a thing. And then I've had a couple of SanDisk, which I really like. SanDisk drives. I've had a couple of those go as well, where suddenly you can access them, but you can't store anything else on them. You can't move anything. I've tried using different programs in there to wipe them. Nah, can't do it. So I don't know. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on them on a USB flash drive, but again,
I
just
mean, you're okay. You're looking at like 128 or 256 gig, $40,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
$60 at
mean,
this
I
point.
guess it also depends on what you're going to use it for. Are you going to use this? Is this going to be your daily driver? Are you going to be constantly writing and reading to this flash drive? Because if so, yes, you're going to want to spend the extra money. But if this is going to be something you're going to put a file on it and then come back a year later and access it, dude, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And if just a reminder, if you're using it for like archival storage, right? It behooves you to every year or so copy the data to a new drive or copy to a third party, right? It's the 3 point solution, right? On prem, on computer, and cloud, right? Those are your 3 points of failure for backups. So like you should always have a copy on your computer. You should always have a copy on a flash drive and a copy like in the cloud or off prem. So just that data does degrade over time. It takes a long time, but it
Yeah.
can degrade over time. So you want
Yeah.
to make sure if it's important, if it's security, if it's your Bitcoin key, if whatever, you want to make sure that you're making sure that you copy that data. I would say at least every 1 year.
Also, be
Yeah.
careful where you're storing your flash drives too, if you got them. Don't leave them
Mm-hmm.
in the car where it might be, especially during the summer, where it might get hot. For us out here, that's bad. You don't want to leave any technology, even your dash cams. You want to pull off your windshield if you can do that, especially in the summer heat.
And definitely don't leave your kids in the car.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a
No,
given.
don't leave
That's
technology or your kids in the car. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But you got to be careful where you keep them. You put them near magnets. You put them near other
Oh,
devices. That
yeah.
can also be a pain. I think I've seen that before, where somebody had a flash drive on a file cabinet being held by a magnet.
Yeah.
That's
Well, no, I've seen the old ones where people like put old floppy disks.
That's I showed you guys that because
Yeah, yeah,
I did it as a joke where
yeah,
I wrote system boot drive and stuck
yeah,
it with a hard drive magnet to the side of my desk.
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
hard drive magnets are the best. I've been destroying and pulling apart hard drives, and that's the best thing about them is getting the magnets. I
Yeah.
just love
And
it.
one more tip. Don't plug your flash drive anywhere you don't want your data to be taken. Like if you don't want it, like, don't take it to somebody else's computer and plug it in unless you know them. Don't take it to the airport and plug it into some like it's like just like USB ports, right? You don't plug in unknown sources into your computer. Don't plug in flash drives you pick up off the street. But like just be careful where you're plugging your USB
All
sticks.
right, we'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. You can complain at facebook.com/tech talkers. We'll be right back.
Well, I know that Shawn has experimented with astrophotography, has introduced us into some really cool content when it comes to outer space. And you've talked to, I think have you talked to some of the astronauts? Have you listened to the astronauts up on the space station?
So I've done QSOs with the space station with other people. So
What does that
bouncing
mean?
off, but the QSO is basically confirming a radio signal.
Oh,
So
okay.
like
Like
when the
amateur radio?
when the space station goes over, there is a transceiver up there, so you can send a VHF signal and receive a UHF signal, so I can, with my ham radio, talk, and then other people can then talk back to me off the repeater on the space station. This past weekend, they had the ARRL field day, and they activated the space station. There were 2 astronauts on board. I don't remember what their names were, but they actually did activations so you could actually contact and talk to one of the astronauts on the space station.
Oh, that's so cool.
This past weekend during the field day. So didn't get a chance to do that, unfortunately, but you can actually see my antenna is sitting back there because I was trying to do it the other night.
Is that a Yagi?
It is a Yagi. Yeah, it's a 70 centimeter Yagi, tuned for like right in the middle of that band. But it's incredible to fun. It's fun to do. And through the university, we actually did a live chat with an astronaut on the space station. That was like 3 years ago, I think. Yeah, there's a whole program called the ARISS, ARISS. It's a whole program dedicated for education on the space station. They track it. They do contesting, and they schedule interviews and stuff with schools around the country, around the world, really. But I still track it. I get notifications when it goes over. I can turn my radio on and hear it, the people talking on the repeaters and stuff. And there's a whole community just around contacting the space stations.
But I don't know if you saw this, Shawn, and I know that you would be totally into this. This is cool because when there have been launches or, these events that have taken place, a lot of people tune in. A lot of people will check it out. People that maybe don't normally follow it. Netflix, there's been some kind of an announcement that NASA is going to be streaming on Netflix.
Ooh.
NASA Plus.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I didn't know about this. This is really cool though. Yeah, so NASA Plus, it's going to be live programming. Will be available on Netflix. So I'm curious if they'll have archival stuff also. The article came out today.
Yep.
So NASA announced Monday its latest plans to team up with a streaming service to bring space a little closer to home, starting this summer.
It's going to be
okay.
great.
All right.
Sometime in the next month or two.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be really cool. I mean, there's a really great app called NSF, Next Spaceflight. If you're interested in watching and tracking space flights, it tracks all of the major companies, Blue Origin, the couple companies out of New Zealand, China, India, the U.S., SpaceX, and it alerts you on your phone. So
awesome. All right, listen, we had a lot to cover this week on this week's show. We'll have more next week, so definitely please tune in. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you.